All right, I hit press play. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, it looks like we are live and on the air.
Mm-hmm. We are.
Oh, so for the dozens in attendance, we are live, ready to get this show on the road. And I'm going to pop on over to Facebook, make sure everything is up and running all peachy keen. Never understood what that actually meant, peachy keen, but everybody says that.
Well, it means keen as peaches.
Are peaches keen? I mean, I know they're canned.
Boy, I like them. I like fresh peaches, though.
Millions of peaches.
Hey, you're in the peach state, aren't you?
I am in the peach state, the state that does not sell the most peaches, by the way, or produce the most peaches.
There's like 10 peach tree streets in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's the peach state, but Florida does way more peaches. California does way more peaches. So, hey, what are you going to do, right? It's just a name. It's just a name. We should be the peanut state, I guess. Would have made more sense.
Yeah, the humble goober.
You like my my completely unshaven look? It's
oh, yeah. What, you didn't shave this morning?
Yeah, it's called laziness. I've been suffering from that for 40 years now, but I get by.
I'm with you on that.
I get by with that. So, all right. So, folks, for those of you watching, and I know there's millions of you out there ready to hear what we have to say today, and we're going to be talking about something that has become a kind of a big issue, and it's going to deal with the power of embedding YouTube videos. And we're going to be talking about how embedding YouTube videos can help your business, but also, boy, that YouTube video player is pretty bad. So what are we going to do about that portion of things? Because there are some downsides to it. So it should be a fun one. Should be providing a lot of info. So, Steve, are you ready to get this show on the road? If you're done yawning there,
Ray. Yes, all right, I'm ready to go.
Whew. Well, then here we go. In 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about embedding YouTube videos and the power it can have for SEO. We're also going to talk about the dark side of embedding YouTube videos. So you better get ready for that. And coincidentally, today's episode is made possible by PressPlay 2. PressPlay 2 is a really good video player that you can use on your websites. Kind of get the connection there between what we're talking about. We're going to talk about embedding YouTube videos. We're going to talk about PressPlay. Well, PressPlay 2 is a really good video embedding system. It allows you to control everything about what you're putting on your website. So if you want to have a really nice, frame around that video, you can do it. If you want to add buttons and all sorts of things like thumbnails and have people link to another page at the end of the video, you can do all of that with PressPlay 2, a very easy to use program that I use all the time. So any of you who see my my pages that I create, I use PressPlay most of the time, unless I really get lazy and just throw the YouTube video up there. But we'll talk about why I don't do that as much anymore, unless I'm really in a time crunch and just need to get it out there. Because there are some downsides to that. But PressPlay allows you to get past some of the downsides we'll talk about by easily embedding a video right onto your page with all sorts of extra goodies to make it look pretty and give you more marketing ability. So you can check it out. Now pay attention to the link here. You can check it out at raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay. And the reason for that is because it's actually a link that we've had for a while. So it's at a slightly different link than we would normally use. And I apologize. That's raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay2, because this is version 2.0. So PressPlay 2. And if you're watching us live, you can click the link down below. So with that, are we ready to hit that funky music, Stevie?
Hit that funky music, Ray E.
Ray on. All right.
Ray on.
Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe we don't go.
Where is it?
Did I hit the wrong thing? Hit the wrong button.
Oh.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the radio show about Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. GoVMM.com is our homepage, and you can subscribe there to all the social media things we got, like YouTube and Facebook, and the podcatchers like Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and all that good stuff. And my wife is working on a logo that we can put above my head of Go.
Ooh, I hope it goes similar to the Earn.show one that we used to have, which will pop up here. Ooh, you can kind of see it there.
There it is.
Steve's got too many white things in the background there that blends
Yeah,
in,
I do.
but I kind of like the look of that. So maybe
I
Go
told her to
VMM
use-
with the microphone and the that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Love this video. These logo creation things. It's going to be awesome stuff. So go VMM, and don't forget, you can watch replays of this not only from the podcast networks and from all of the sites like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, but you can catch it all on YouTube as well. We've got YouTube versions of every single episode we've ever done for the last, 38 years, I think?
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah,
38 years we've been
yeah.
doing this podcast, and you can catch all of them, so it'll be a lot of fun. Yes, Steve, I see that pen in the air.
This news is just totally off subject, but did you see that WABC in New York recently sold for $12.5 million?
$12.5 million?
$12.5 million. Now, let me just say that the 38 years is what kind of reminded me of that, because 38 years ago it was worth $250 million.
Well, I was just going to say, that seems like a really small number.
Well, they just don't have the ratings they used to. They AM is really in the toilet. Really, now in Omaha, the number one station is KFAB, which is an AM station. But for the most part, all those AMs that used to be dominant in the market are just scratching by. The guy who bought it does a podcast, and and he owns a chain of grocery stores. It's Red Apple Group, and the guy's got a Greek last name. Otherwise, I'd remember he's a Greek immigrant. And he's got a chain of grocery stores in New York, and he's also invested in real estate and oil refineries. And the guy,
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I do. And but he's got a podcast. He does a 2-hour radio show every day. Kind of a conservative business bent. And he runs it on a number of stations on the East Coast, and he was running it on the Salem conservative talk station in New York, which has got kind of a limited signal. So he just decided to buy WABC, get that 50,000 watt blowtorch to put his radio show there.
I believe that's the station that does Rush Limbaugh and all those, right? Isn't it?
Rush. Well, no, he's on
Sean
WOR now. They moved him to
Oh,
WOR.
that's right. Yes, he's on
but
WOR.
He started
Okay.
on WABC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
And yeah. And when Rush first started 30 years ago, he was kind of considered the savior of AM radio because
he was. I mean, it was all but dead at that point. AM radio was known for elevator style music and contests where you could call and win prizes, and that was about it until the disadvantages of of AM radio became an advantage when it came to talk radio, and so boom, there you go. This entire new industry that until podcasts have slowly chipped away at that, and satellite radio has chipped away at that. So
yeah, podcasts and there is some, and I don't quite understand this, but there are some electrical interference issues with AM radio that makes it pretty difficult to listen to at home. Car radio is a little different story, but there again, car radios have Blueberry and podcast have really cut into people listening in the car. Most stations still get, if they're fairly highly rated station, still get the AM people driving in because they want the news and all that.
I couldn't even tell you one single station that I get in the area.
I don't listen anymore.
Every once in a while, I pop in my car, and all of a sudden, there's people screaming at me in Spanish, and I don't know why. I'm like, I've never tuned to this station, And all of a sudden, I've got people screaming at me in Spanish, and I have no idea why. And I'm like, okay, well, let's figure this out here.
Whenever our daughter borrows our car, we'll get back into it, and I hear Tex-Mex polkas, Mexican polkas, because of the influence of all the Polish immigrants and German immigrants in southern Texas. Hispanics like polkas, and they got their own version of polkas. And so if you listen to the Mexican station, it's all polka music. And they're screaming at me in Spanish, too. So.
All right. So there you go. Stephen Ray's Screaming Spanish Polka Hour is about to begin here. But no, we're here to talk about something completely different than polka or Spanish people screaming at us on the radio. We're here to talk about the power of embedding YouTube videos. Now, if you are a screaming Spanish station or a Spanish Mexican polka station, you can create videos and you can use YouTube for this. And you could put embedded videos on those sites as well. So there's a little tie-in there that goes with all of this. But no, in all seriousness, I want to talk a lot today about the power of embedding the videos because, as most people know, YouTube made some major changes earlier this year to the embedded video player. Now, in the old days, you could get the YouTube embedded player, you could put it on your website, and it would play your video, and it would have that familiar YouTube look to it. If you had a website or some sort of web builder that could take a YouTube video and you just put it in there, you'd get a nice clean web video on there that you wouldn't even necessarily know it's YouTube for the most part because it didn't look like YouTube. But earlier this year, YouTube made some major changes where from this point on, you can no longer turn off the related videos at the end. When you pause the video, a bunch of related videos show up, which, by the way, could be your competition's videos. So you could literally be, if you put an embedded YouTube video on your plumbing website for your plumbing services, and somebody's watching that video, they hit pause, they could see related videos that are other plumbers in your area and click on those and go watch a different plumber and call him. So it's it's a major problem. On top of that, on that embedded player, at the top, there's a link that goes back to your channel. There's a link that goes back to YouTube. There's another link that goes back to YouTube. At the end of the video, when it stops playing, it's going to show a whole bunch of videos that they can click on. Basically, there are, I think somebody said, over a dozen different clicks that you can make on the video player to take you away from your site and to back to YouTube to somebody else's video, or so you can really lose a lot of audience very quickly and easily. So that's a real conundrum because there are also some major benefits to embedding a YouTube video on your website. And that has to do with, better optimization, better time on site. You could even improve your Google My Business. You could, just a lot of real benefits from using the YouTube video embedded on your website. So the question is, what are we to do as marketers, especially local marketers, when it comes to embedding videos on our own site? Do we use the YouTube embedded video and have the ability for people to see others' videos or to click back to YouTube? Or do we use a really nice video player like PressPlay that we talked about earlier, where you're probably not going to get all those SEO benefits that you would get if you embed the YouTube video? So how do we handle that? How do we make sure that our clients are being served best, that people are actually able to get those videos on there, you're able to get the benefits of them without sending people away all the time? And I can tell you what I've kind of come up with as my go-to with this. At this point in time, for the most part, depending upon what your goals are, if you're a local business, your goals obviously are to show up on page 1 and to show up at the top of the maps. So in those particular situations, it's probably worth it to embed a YouTube video because you're going to get a lot of benefits from that. Now, if you've got a very specific landing page, a sales page, things where maybe you're not really trying to rank per se because you're driving traffic from email, you're driving traffic from social media, driving traffic from ads. And so the ranking thing, you might rank well, but that's not your main goal. Your main goal is to drive people to that site and have a specific purpose when they get there and no distractions. So in those situations, I would use an embedded player like PressPlay, and there are tons of others out there that you could use. If you're hosting your videos on some of the third-party sites, they'll have embedded players, so you can do things that way. So a lot of people embed from Vimeo, which is still pretty good. You've still got some of those issues, but not the same as YouTube. So that can definitely be a big help. Now, the other side to that, of course, is when you do that, you use your own player, you embed the video yourself, you don't have to worry about YouTube deciding to shut down your video. Because that can be another issue, obviously, if, for whatever reason, somebody comes along and starts flagging all your videos and YouTube goes, oh, there's a problem here, and shuts you down. Well, now your client's site or your site no longer has a video. It just has a big gaping hole in the middle of the page. And so that can be another issue as well. So that's something to factor in there. But as I said, with local businesses, it may be worth the risk to use those embedded YouTube videos on your pages. Now, one kind of hybrid of that, your front page of your site, where most people are going to stumble onto your site, if it's going to rank on page 1, they're probably going to end up on your front page. What you may want to do is to use something like PressPlay to make a really nice video on your front page. It's still going to get people's attention. It's still going to get people to watch. It's going to improve your on-site time, and that can help your SEO. You're not going to get some of the other benefits, but it will look very nice. It'll look very professional. And then what you can do is on your interior pages, then you can start putting some of your YouTube embedded videos. So for instance, I'm working on a dentist's YouTube channel. In fact, right before Steve sent me a message and goes, hey, it's almost time to start the radio show. And I was like, oh, crud, because I was sitting there working on a dentist's YouTube channel. And so what I'm planning on doing with this particular one is we're going to embed, so he's got a page for, let's say, cosmetic dentistry, and he's got a page for tooth whitening, and he's got a page for root canals. And so on those interior pages, I've got a very specific video for root canals, and we're going to embed that root canal video from YouTube directly onto his page. So we'll take the hit on the related videos and the mess that is the YouTube player for some of the benefits. Now, what are some of the benefits that you get from that? Well, if you have a YouTube video and you properly optimize that. So for instance, in this guy's root canal page, he's got his page optimized for root canal. What I've done is inside of YouTube, I've optimized that video specifically for root canal. So whatever the name of his page is kind of, we're trying to use that in the titles and the tags and the descriptions. We're putting a link directly to that root canal page on his site, and we're making sure that we've got a nice thumbnail and just doing all the good SEO. And when you do that good SEO and then you embed that video onto the matching page, you can see some really big results in the SEO. And also in the Google My Business, because all of that stuff is going to help raise that page. It's going to have the local effect on that, and it's going to help to build up that GMB page. So you've got a lot of opportunities to build on this person's local presence by using that YouTube embedded video. Now, on the front page, we may go with PressPlay just to make it look nicer so that we don't see that ugly video player on there. But we may not. We may just go for the YouTube embedded player and take the risk of any issues that might happen. Again, YouTube could shut you down at any time. People could click away. So you have to weigh it back and forth. For me personally, I would like the idea of putting the nice video on page 1. I use PressPlay on that, and then that way you can make sure that you're not going to have any issues on your front page. Use the other videos for your interior pages and get some of the benefits there. Because again, using an embedded player, you're still going to get SEO benefits. You're just not going to get that YouTube boost that you would normally get with that. But it can certainly be a big help. And of course, you want to do this with as many pages on the site as you can. So in this case, we've only got 10 videos right now that we can use, and they're 10 specific videos. So they are a root canal video. So it's not just a video that I've optimized to get the word root canal. It's actually a video about root canals. It's actually a video about cosmetic dentistry. It's actually a video about orthodontics. But one thing that you can do in the case of these guys, where they've got a bunch of pages that maybe we don't have a video for, at least not yet. Well, you can take a generic dentist video in this case, or lawyer or plumber or whatever it is that you're doing. Take that dental video and make copies of it. Go into whatever video editor you have, make a bunch of copies of that one video. It could be very generic, and then just make subtle changes to it. Maybe change the music out. change the color of the graphic that's on there. Maybe make the end screen a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. And what will happen is, in the eyes of YouTube, each time you upload that video that you've made changes to, it's a unique video. It's the exact same video, but because digitally it's a different video, because it's a different length, it's a different encoding, things like that, you can upload that video for another keyword. So for instance, if he's got a page on gum disease, and we don't have a video on gum disease, well, we can put up the generic video, but on YouTube, we optimize that generic video for gum disease, put that onto that page, and now we get the benefit there as well. And that's what we've done in a lot of cases where people don't have enough videos to really cover that stuff. But doing all of that can make a big benefit. And Steve, you had something to say about all this?
Yeah, I've done that quite a bit. It seems like YouTube's getting a little wise to it, but I can't prove it. It just kind of seems like it anecdotally. What I try to do is put those on different YouTube channels, though, just to be safe.
Yeah, I've never had an issue, and I do it all the time. So basically, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
No, you are.
No, you're wrong.
Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. No, we actually.
And like I said, that's all anecdotal. I just do it to be safe.
Well, and I can tell you one thing. YouTube themselves were the ones who told me to do that.
Oh, they did.
They did, yes.
Oh, well, then I
actually people at YouTube. They said if you want to be able to use the same thing to target different audiences, you just make changes to the video, even if one thing they said, and I didn't mention this, is if you take the same video and you export it again, but just change the export settings, that'll be unique. And they said you can do that. So they were the ones who actually, hand to God, they are the ones who told me to do that.
I believe you.
So.
How long ago? How long ago was that?
A couple years ago, a few years back. But
the only thing I think I noticed, now, all this stuff is extremely anecdotal, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I did that recently on a channel, and where I did one channel, I did what you said, and they wouldn't upload them. They said they looked too similar. Yeah.
No, I did it yesterday with a whole bunch of them. So
did you? Okay.
Yeah,
and
I do it all
there
the
were
time.
probably some extraneous circumstances I'm not thinking about in that, that I'm not putting on the table here. But I think, but it's good that I brought this up because, first of all, a little teaching moment from Ray, the video guy. And, I think there are a lot of people when they change up videos do upload them to different sites just to be safe.
Sure.
So,
a lot of people do that. A lot of people.
And as Ray said, he heard it from the source that, you can put them all on the same channel. Just change them up. And, just maybe I'm just being OC here, but yeah, I would change the music. I'd make them different lengths. I'd do a number of different easy things.
If you just take the video and export it 5 times and change the name of the file and upload it, it'll definitely get blocked. Absolutely, 100% will get blocked. But if you make changes to it, then they'll let you upload that.
Yeah, and it could be that when I did that, I didn't make enough changes. So like I said, there's extraneous circumstances I'm not remembering about that. But anyhow.
Yes, fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
So that's the big issue that we have.
Good times.
Good times. Yes. But that's the issue that we have, a lot of times is just dealing with, how do we make sure that we get the benefits of these? And obviously the good thing about this is, you're going to be putting these onto YouTube. You're going to be optimizing the living heck out of them, which is going to be beneficial over there. You're putting it onto the page. And if, for those of you who don't know, when you embed YouTube videos into places, that actually helps with the ranking of the video itself. So they like to see that. So now you're embedding it onto a page that's optimized. You've got this page, it's optimized, it's got the optimized video, and they both are just going to rise, simultaneously because of that. And because that rises, then your GMB has a chance to rise. And recently, we had a client who they didn't have a lot of stuff. They were a newer client. They were close on the GMB. They were a little behind. They were 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. They've got a couple locations. And so what we did was we put up videos. We made sure that they were optimized like crazy for that particular area. We embedded the videos onto the website, and within a couple of days, boop, GMB right into the top 3. And so it makes a big difference. And the only thing we really did with that was doing the video trick. In fact, we kind of purposely left other things, didn't make any other changes during that time just to see if we embed this video, is it going to have an effect? And it did. It had a pretty dramatic effect. In just a couple of days, it popped it up for something that, had been struggling for a while. Yes, Steve.
Well, one of the things I've learned with getting GMB rankings is you got to keep telling Google that you are who you say you are and you do what you say you do, and you do it within the geographic area where you're ranking.
Yep.
And having YouTube embedded videos, that's one part of the process of doing that. And sort of a little bit off the topic just a little bit, but I did a test where I had my client's GMB on page 1. He's got a website company doing his website, but I did all kinds of other things to get him on page 1. And I tried an experiment. I put his one-page website on the GMB as opposed to his regular website, the free website from Google, the free one page, and I could see it drop right away. And I went in and I looked and it dropped. And then I went, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So I put his regular website in, which has got YouTube videos and it's got Yoast SEO and it's properly constructed, got a lot of information and stuff, and it was back up on page 1.
Wow. Yeah.
That's just that quickly. Yeah. That was pretty amazing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a big difference for that. And of course, taking that video and then putting it onto the GMB can be a big help too. It shocks me that with all of the integration that Google does and all the integration that we're trying to do with Google Plus and all that stuff, that the GMBs and the YouTube, they're not really connected. And you upload a video into the GMB. It's like, why aren't you just connecting it? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's just another opportunity. So the GMBs, you can upload the video there, get a little bit of attention.
Well, and the other thing that it's going to do is it's going to help your brand. If you upload videos. Now, I wish they just said, here, put a YouTube link in here for your video, but they don't. You got to upload the MP4. But what happens is you Google DUI lawyer, you see a guy in the 3-pack page 1, you click on it. What are you going to do? You're going to look at the reviews, and then if you see questions and answers and you see posts, you're going to look at that too, because those are the things that show up first and foremost. Reviews, then questions and answers, and then posts. And so it's going to help the brand, help authority. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, to have to post videos. And that's what I do with my guy, is I just once a week I post a different video. I've got a whole ton of interview videos I've done with him.
I will say this on that side of it, your website, of course, get those videos up there. If you can even put, 2 videos on a page without slowing the page down, that can be pretty fun. Get some things in there. On the GMBs, do not try to upload 300 videos. Just an insider tip there. Insider tip. Do not try to upload 300 videes.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting anywhere close to that.
I did that with mine, and it shut down the entire system. Like I didn't get in trouble. It didn't hurt it. It probably helped it, but the system couldn't handle that, and my GMB is now frozen. Like I can't add any pictures or anything to it because it's stuck, and it's been that way for a while. They've been trying to figure out how, and they're like, oh yeah, like the limit of pictures and videos is like 100, and I put like 300 videos and like 500 images, and that froze the whole system.
Your personal
on my
page
Ray the Video Guy, the local GMB.
Yeah, the Snellville thing. Yeah. Wow, yep. I'll be darned. That's crazy. Hey, one question. Here's something I never thought of that you alluded to. Can multiple embedded videos slow down your website?
It definitely can. In fact, going back to our Made Possible By, one issue that I had is, so the other half of this is, that's kind of your local business pages and your traditional website. when it comes to like a sales page and a landing page and a review page, things like that, I often do not use the YouTube video, and I'll put in the PressPlay video. So it's the same video. I just use the PressPlay player and I host it on my own system. And the reason that I do that is I don't want to have YouTube's embedded player. I don't want to have all those links going away from the page. I want to keep people there, and so I use the embedded player that holds them there, and it doesn't take them away, and it still gives them that same experience. And the other benefit of that is YouTube's embedded player actually is pretty weighty. So, for instance, I built a page for lawyers, and it had a bunch of my videos that they could buy, and there's like 6 or 8 of them, and then there was a video up at the top, and I think there was 10 demo videos and a video up at the top, and the page loaded really slow. And so I said, well, what's the difference here? And I removed all the videos from it and published it again, and it was super fast, just super fast. And I put the videos back in there, brought it right back down. So I traded it out, and believe me, to use something like PressPlay, it takes a little more work because you've got to put your videos in another location besides YouTube now. You got to grab the video, you got to create the player, and create the player for each one, embed each one. And so I did that, and actually I went one step further. I actually, on the page itself, I just put images, and when they clicked on it, the video would pop up. So the videos weren't loading with the front page. When I first put the PressPlay in there and put all the videos in, it sped it up by more than double what YouTube, it doubled what the loading speed. It got much quicker. So because each one of the players for PressPlay was much smaller than the YouTube embedded player as far as what it had to load. And then, of course, when I offloaded it a little bit by putting the image and only loading the video when they clicked on that particular video, and then it would pop up and load, that brought the speed right back up. And so that's a big help. But I noticed when I tried doing that with the YouTube video, it still seemed to load the YouTube video in the front of the page anyway, even though you had to click an image to have it pop up. It was still loading that in there and slowing the page down. But when I switched to PressPlay, it was much faster. So if you're going to be putting a bunch of pages on, a bunch of videos onto the page, you got to be careful with that because it can slow the page down. Now, I will say this. Yesterday, we were supposed to have a webinar, and there was an emergency. We had to change it to next week. The program we were going to show you yesterday that we're going to show you in the webinar next Thursday, it actually puts the YouTube videos in there, and the page is still loaded like that. Very, very impressive. So look forward to that. It's a webinar you're going to want to go on for a number of reasons, but that particular reason was pretty exciting. The fact that you did not see that slowdown, even with multiple YouTube videos on that page, still super fast. So how they do that, I don't know. It's fairy magic or something, but it certainly worked.
Fairy
They
dust.
got dark wizards in the
wizards,
background doing something. So,
Magic wands.
but either way, the bottom line of all of this is we want to make sure that you always want to try to use YouTube videos or excuse me, just videos in general on your pages, because it's going to keep people on the page longer. It's going to provide them with the information they need, and it's going to improve your sales. But depending upon the situation, you just have to decide which makes the most sense. Do you want the YouTube embedded player, which can really, give an extra boost to your SEO and maybe even to your GMBs? Or do you want to use a private player that's going to take away all that YouTube branding, keep people on that page, still provide the education, still keep people on the page longer, and actually will provide you with more buttons and things than the YouTube player has? So the YouTube player, it's going to take people off. The embedded player, like PressPlay, allows you to add things like buttons and questions and opt-ins right in the videos themselves. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with those, a lot of branding opportunities. If you look at any of my pages, you may notice like the video looks like a computer, or it looks like a TV, or it looks like a chalkboard with video on it. And that's all done directly through PressPlay because it makes it very easy to do that kind of fun stuff. And you can, with PressPlay, you can have the one thing you can't really have with the YouTube video is that neat little trick where you're at the top of the page, you start scrolling down, and the video goes whoop, and it pops into the corner and follows you down the page while you go. With PressPlay, you can do things like that. Just a lot of really cool options that you have built into that program. So if you want to check that out, and I do highly recommend you check that out because it is a very good player. You can check it out at raythevideoguy.convertry, and that's CONVERTRI. So convertri.com/PressPlay2. raythevideoguy.convertry.com/PressPlay2. So check that out.
And if you're watching the Facebook Live, Ray's got it in the headline.
Yes,
and
it's in the little
we'll have it in the
description.
notes on YouTube and the podcast. So
Excellent. So there you go, Steve. If you want to boost your video, if you want to boost your GMBs, you want to boost your SEO, you want to get more attention, you got to embed these videos in some way. So YouTube player, if you don't mind some of the buttons that take people away from your page, but you want that SEO benefit, PressPlay or another player. If you want to make sure that you've got a really nice looking player on the page that's not going to take people back to YouTube, that's not going to show your competitors' videos, and that's going to give you more branding and sales opportunities within the player itself, highly recommend you check that out. So with that, there's everything you need to know about embedding videos.
well, and as usual, I learn something every week by sitting in here. That's the first thing I thought of. The second thing is that whenever I act like I know what I'm talking about, I find out I don't. So that's always.
Oh, you do.
reassuring.
You have plenty of reason to be
yeah,
very
thanks.
careful with anything that is controlled by YouTube, because you never know what kind of nefarious
Yeah.
things they're going to pull next. So
I know.
it's
And
scary.
The thing that's kind of crazy that I find with SEO, whether it be YouTube SEO or just SEO in general, is it's Google doesn't really tell us much of anything when you think about it.
And by the way, any of
those
people that sit there and go, well, this is how it works and that's how it works, I hate when people say that, because they really don't know. I mean, they may have evidence to suggest, but they don't know. And that evidence to suggest might change tomorrow. So the bottom line is you got to go with what seems to work, but understand that you don't really know, and they're going to change it. They make changes multiple times a week to the algorithm. So when somebody says, oh, I can guarantee I'm going to get to page 1 because this is how it works. Okay, maybe it has, but maybe it won't tomorrow. You don't really know. You've got evidence to suggest, and you have to be honest with people about that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that think they know exactly how to do everything, and that can be a little scary.
If you preface it, if you're like, for instance, let's say you're talking to a group of people, and that's a good way to get local businesses to speak at the Rotaries and stuff about what you're doing and how you can help them and all that. If you preface it by saying what we just talked about, that it seems like I think what I'm seeing, understand that Google releases so little information. I think you come across as more credible. People are more likely to believe you, and put their trust
I like
in
to think so.
you.
So who knows?
Okay, cool.
But with that, the madness is closing down for the week. And Steve, anything exciting going on for the rest of this week?
Well, we got the 4th of July next.
That's right, we do. Next something.
Now, next Friday's the 5th. Are you going to be around? Or
next Friday the 5th, I may not be around, but not because of the 4th of July. I may actually be in a class that day, Friday and Saturday. So,
wow, always learning. Ray the video
that's
guy.
right. Trying to learn some new things. And you know what I'm doing this weekend? This is going to be a very busy weekend. I've got 2 things going on this weekend. Tomorrow, I'm actually participating in the Amazing Race. So that should be not for the TV show, but a localized one where I guess some of the people are trying to get into the Amazing Race, and so they're doing this. And so we've got our little team, and we're going to be traveling around trying to solve all the puzzles. I've never watched the show really, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I kind of get the concept, but we'll see how it works here locally. But we'll be doing that all day. And then Sunday, and I usually don't do things on Sunday.
Sunday.
Usually Sunday is not a day I do things, but we had a weird opportunity, and I'm actually going to be at a concert on Sunday. Would you care to guess who I'm going to see this Sunday?
Whitesnake?
That is not a funny joke. I'm from Rhode Island. Thank you very much.
Okay. Who are you going to go see?
We are going to see Weird Al.
Weird Al Yankovic. Cool.
Weird Al Yankovic with a full orchestra.
Even weirder. That's pretty cool.
It's called the Strings Attached Tour because he's got a full orchestra with a string section in there. So
I'll be darned.
that is right. So I will be donning my UHF shirt and heading on over to watch Weird Al in concert in South Carolina. So.
Oh, you're flying there or driving?
No, it's just a little. It's not that long of a drive from here.
Okay.
So should be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
So
good stuff. Now, hey, let me ask you something. Now,
go for it.
Who made today's show possible?
Oh, that's right. Well, today's show was made possible by our good friends at PressPlay 2. PressPlay 2 is, as we talked about in the show, a video player for your website where you can host your videos and display them exactly how you would like. So if you want to have a large video player or a small video player, if you want your video player to look like a MacBook Pro or you want it to look like a chalkboard or a TV, you got all sorts of really fun and cool skins for it. You've got the option to add buttons, to add opt-ins, to add thumbnails, to add redirects. So if you want to have somebody on your page watch a video and then automatically redirect to another to another page, you can do it. All those things are built into PressPlay so that you have full control and you don't have all of those clicks back to YouTube. Now the cool thing is you actually can use a YouTube video embedded inside of PressPlay. Of course, then you would still have all of the bad YouTube stuff, but you'd get all the other things that you can add in there, such as the buttons and the frames and the skins and all that kind of stuff. So you can host it yourself. You can put it through Vimeo. You can be hosting it on YouTube and get a nice player that you fully control. And you can check that out at raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay2. And that's Convertry, CONVERTRI, Convertry. So raythevideoguy.convertry.com/pressplay2. Get it today. And you'll get a lot of bonuses. We put a bunch of bonuses in with it too. So
oh, cool.
Good stuff.
Very cool. All right, my friend. Yeah.
Well, with that, another week is to the close. So for those of you here in America, happy Independence Day. For those of you over the pond, happy Treason Day. And we will see you on the next episode. So let's hit that funky music. I'm even going to press the correct button this time.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be a very good thing. So here we go.
He's Ray the Video Guy. Yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy. Yeah, Ray the Video Guy.